So my name is Nina, and I'm here with Charlotte. As you mentioned, we both work for the Climate Fresk Association. And for those who remember, I did a webinar with Valentin, another of our co-worker, a few months ago, which was really focused on the workshop itself. So as you said, we are going to focus more on the training this time. But basically, we work both in helping organizations who wish to organize climate fresk workshops or trainings internally. We help them make it real. If you want to add something.
Yeah, I don't have much to say. Just to highlight that my name is Charlotte, not Nina Brulard, which is the name
Right.
that comes up to my video.
Exactly. Shall we share? Can I share my screen, you think?
I think so. Okay. Hopefully you can. You're our co-host, so you should be able to do so.
Should be okay.
Yeah.
Can you see it?
Yeah.
Amazing. Okay. So we have prepared a little presentation. We'll try to be as quickly but as clear as possible for you to, if you still have answers at the end of the presentation, for you to be able to ask them. And so, yes, as Louise mentioned, the goal is really to show you the interest in training yourself as a Climate Fresk facilitator. Why is it interesting for you as a green contact point in the Erasmus Plus network? What would be the interest maybe to train the agents within the agencies as well? We'll see all about that. Sorry, start. So first of all, we just wanted to remind you of the purpose of the association and of the project, actually. It is to accelerate the understanding of climate issue at the global level in order to contribute to triggering as rapidly as possible the shifts needed to preserve life. And this is really our daily compass in every project that we lead, and our daily mission. And so it is both to bring this climate change awareness as quickly as possible, but also as best as possible. So there's a stake of quality to do it as best as we can. And it also it gathers every type of public. We really want to reach every type of public, and this includes, of course, public within organizations. So may they be companies, organizations of the public sector, and also even in schools. And some key figures of the project. So for now, we are about to reach 2 million participants in France and worldwide, which we are very happy about. It's a growing number, and as is the number of facilitators, which is of around 85,000 facilitators, again, internationally and in France. We have spread so far in around 150 countries, and the game itself has been translated in about 50 languages. So as you can see, we're really not France focused. We're really looking to spread worldwide. And so a little word on Climate Fresk at Erasmus Plus. So what we've done so far. So it all started back in June 2023, where a European delegation gathered in Paris and was able to leave the workshop for the first time. There were around 40 people, if I'm correct, at the time, not only people from the Erasmus Plus network, but most of them, if I'm correct, again. And last spring, we were able to provide some online workshops for the GCP network. So the spread of the Climate Fresk continued, and from what we know, there's at least 300 participants who took part in a workshop in 8 different agencies in 2024. So it's a great way to start, and we're going to see how we can make this even more in the future years.
And so how to organize a workshop. So I think most of you have already participated in a workshop, so there will not be any secret here. But please note that it's very easy to set up a workshop. You can have an unlimited number of participants that are split into groups of 5 to 7 around a table. So this is the best experience for every participant. A small group of 5, 6, or 7 people around a table. One facilitator can facilitate 1 or 2 tables, so he can facilitate a maximum of 14 participants. And of course, we can imagine that a workshop, that there are 2 facilitators working for 2 groups of 14 participants. It can really be a big event. Of course, you need Climate Fresk cards, otherwise it's too difficult to have a Climate Fresk workshop, which can be the set of cards, or we can see further that there is a tool that enables you to do the workshop online with the cards online. And you need time. We have settled the duration of the workshop at 3 hours and a half. Maybe you've done the workshop in 3 hours, but we have extended the duration of the workshop because 3 hours was a bit speed at the end. So to make it more comfortable, we extended the duration by 30 minutes. And note that online, it always takes a bit of time to take the tool maybe you don't hear me well.
Oh, I'm gonna
get closer
get closer.
So yeah, please note that the workshop lasts 3 hours and a half, and just a little bit more if it's online.
And if I can add something on the number of facilitators. So first, during the first facilitations, we do recommend that each facilitator facilitates for 1 table, and the goal is to reach the 2 tables per facilitators, but it's a second step, so don't be afraid.
And yeah, as I said earlier, the workshop can take place in person, on site, or online. If it's an in-person workshop, you'll have to find a room and rectangular tables to welcome your participants in a comfortable space. So yeah, the tables must be rectangular, it's very important, and around 2 meters long. And if it's online, I think maybe that can be interesting for you, as you want maybe to gather participants from different cities, from different countries. So the workshop can totally be held online via Zoom, Google Meet, or Teams. And we give the facilitators an online whiteboard tool, which makes it very easy to run the workshop online. Just make sure that you have comfortable connection. You can speak out loud, just like basic conditions to have a proper training online.
And so, why train up your own internal facilitators? That is the question we are here today to answer it. First of all, depending on your objective, it will really help you accelerate climate change awareness in your agency. It will really help you speed up the rollout, the internal rollout, because mobilizing external facilitators can be a bit time consuming, and it's not as flexible. It's not always in the terms that you need. If you have a quick event, etc., that you need to organize, to set up quickly, it won't be as easy if you only leverage external facilitators. So it's really a gain of time, of independence and flexibility for you. It is a great way to skill up your own skills, but also the skills of maybe your coworkers if they want to train, to take part in a training. both in your climate knowledge, but also as your facilitation skills, which are always nice to have. And I believe that it would be a great addition to your Green Contact Point missions. It's a way to engage your co-workers in your sustainability trajectory and offer the chance to gather them around this topic that can be a little bit it can be struggling to tackle this topic. So the workshop is a great way to do so. But it's also a great way to save money because organizing workshop can be a bit pricey. Again, if you only mobilize external facilitators, professional facilitators. So it's a way for you to save your budget in this sense. How to become a facilitator. So we have put there the different steps to make you a great facilitator, a fresker as we call them, of Climate Fresk workshop. In order to be trained to the facilitation of the workshop, the only condition is to have taken part in a workshop first. It's really important, and again, it's the only condition because the professional training that Charlotte will introduce in a minute is more focused on how to facilitate the workshop, not really on the content of the cards themselves. This you will really see in the first part of in the workshop itself, and so that's why it's important for you to do it. And also, it's important for you to know how it feels to leave the workshop and what will your potential impact. What will be the potential impact on the participants that will take part in your workshops. Step one, take part in a workshop, 3.5 hours. Step two, take part in a professional training. The professional training is 7 hours long for organizations. So full day. And the third step is totally optional. We put it there. It's the fact that you can be supported by a mentor while doing your first facilitations. It's actually something that was asked by organizations that roll out massively Climate Fresk. And their newly trained facilitators were not as comfortable in doing their first facilitations, and so they asked if they could be supported by professional facilitators for the first times, and so it is a possibility. We can offer this service, and the mentor will really be there to do a little briefing before the workshop, be present during your first facilitation, and give you advice, make sure that everything's done properly, that we were on time, etc., and do a debrief after the workshop to talk about what went well, what would be where you could improve in your facilitation, etc. And so one mentor can support up to 3 facilitators at the same time. So it would have to be during some kind of event. It can be less than that, of course. But again, this is totally optional, but know that it exists. And the goal is for you to be, again, fully autonomous in your rollout.
And here is a focus on the course outline of the training. So the objective of the training is to make you feel confident and comfortable in facilitating Climate Fresk workshops. So how does the training look like? The day starts with the icebreaker, because you've probably seen that in a workshop, there's always an icebreaker. So what's the importance of an icebreaker? Then you have an introduction of the project, why Climate Fresk is a tool that works, what are the ingredients of the Climate Fresk. And then, as you can see, the biggest part of the training is 2.5 hours focus on the role-playing in the Climate Fresk game. So what is the posture, the position of the facilitator during this phase, and many tips and best practices in this phase of the workshop. Then you see the creativity phase and how to deal with the restitution also. And the second part of the day is how to welcome emotions in a group, which is not so easy. Then you have to learn how to build a debrief phase, how to make the discussions around the actions. So with some data and impact orders, some really like climate resources on how to really make the brainstorming impactful. Then you see the Fresker journey. I'll talk a bit more about the facilitator space just after that, but what it means to be a Fresker today. And at the end, well, you see how to run a workshop in your organization, and also you have some expertise on climate education and how to tackle with any questions you may have, you may encounter in your future workshops. And so, as I said, once you have been trained as a facilitator, you have access to your facilitator space, which is very an important tool. So in this space, you can have access to e-learning resources and useful documents, that is to say, climate education resources, but also tips on facilitation, really many resources, conferences that are organized for the community, many things. On the facilitator space, you can organize and invite your coworkers on your internal workshops, so very easy in logistics, of course. You have an overview on the progress of the work out in your organization, in your environment. You can see your facilitator journey and your belt progression, because once you've been trained, you are a white belt, and the more workshop you organize, the more experience you have, and you see starting at 10 workshops, you are an orange belt, then you can gain the green belt, and then the blue belt if you are an expert of Climate Fresk. And last but not least, definitely, you join an international and engaged community, which is really ready to help. You have chats and many ways to contact other Freskers around the world in every country. So that's very useful, and we encourage the facilitators to take advantage of this.
And so a word on the user license and user rights, because the tool is bound to a user license. And when, for example, you are an employee of an organization and you facilitate the workshop to your coworkers, you have to declare user rights. So you have it's an important topic that we wanted to mention, because of course there's a question of budget that needs to be addressed if you decide to roll out Climate Fresk. And so the amount of the user rights are of €3 excluding VAT per participant. So for example, if you had 14 participants, you will have to declare €3 per participant for each of them. Yes, there's a note which says that starting from January 2025, these user rights will evolve to €5, but it does not concern you. It's for companies only. So the payment of the user rights, you have to know that it goes to the association that is self-financed. So it's really just money that we use to make a whole lot of projects regarding, for example, the voluntary community of Freskers to develop our own tools, such as the facilitator space that was introduced by Charlotte, etc. And we advise organizations to make their declarations every 3 months, every 6 months. It would be a big struggle for you to do it, to declare it every time you did a workshop. So we do not ask this from you. It would be a big struggle for us as well regarding administrative things. So just note that it will. It would be great if you could do it every 3 or 6 months. And yes, a word on the references that have trained internal facilitators and which are rolling out the Climate Fresk. So we already mentioned last time that the European Commission and the Council of the European Union, had trained internal facilitators and are rolling out Climate Fresk pretty massively. And we're very happy about this. There's also the French National Center for Scientific Research, the French Development Agency, which is internationally based and which uses online tools to offer workshops to entities other than France. There's also the France's National Research Institute for Agriculture, Food and Environment, which is a pretty big institutional organization in France as well. So yes, all of them, they have trained internal facilitators and are rolling out the Climate Fresk pretty efficiently. And it's now time for a little Q&A session. So if you have questions, I believe the best way is for you to write them in the chat. That's right, Anne-Louise?
Exactly.
Great.
So feel free to write on everything or PM me. We already had one question by message, which was someone asking, do you have to work with the facilitator appointed by the Climate Fresk coordinator? This is someone who mentioned that they had already organized a Climate Fresk in their NA, and they found that the facilitator that was sent was okay, but was a bit, I think, depressing. There was a bit too much on the catastrophe ahead and maybe not enough on optimism. And they were asking, like, are we basically stuck with this person, or can we work with someone else?
No, of course, if you found that the facilitation was not didn't reach the goal you imagined, we can totally change the facilitator. I don't know if it was a facilitator mobilized by the association. Was it part of the workshop we organized, Anne-Louise, or was it? Did we put this person directly in contact with the facilitator? I don't know.
I don't know. They didn't mention that someone who connected and had to leave, unfortunately. So they, I don't have all the details, but they said, like, basically we worked first. That's the thing you have to do. You can reach out to the Climate Fresk and they're going to help coordinate your first event. But they were asking, is this like the official facilitator for our country? They're from a small country. And so this is the only person we can work with, or obviously, can we find other partners?
Yes, of course. Again, we have the chance to have a growing community and of pro community as well. So particularly in Europe. So I'm not afraid. We would definitely be able to put you in contact with somebody else if it didn't work out as well with the other facilitator. No problem.
And maybe I can jump in and add that one of the points of the facilitator training could be to work with the facilitators that you already know and trust for your NA, and check either whether or not they are Climate Fresk facilitators themselves, or figure out a way for them to train. And then you can have someone that you are used to, that you've already worked with and communicated with, that can, now do all those workshops for you for your NA. So that's an option as well, to go the other way around and see someone that you already work with and have them train. It doesn't have to be someone inside the NA. Okay, so again, feel free to write down the questions if you have any in the chat, or raise your hand if you're more comfortable. Maybe I'll take this time, if we don't have any questions, to talk about something that was asked from me a couple of weeks ago. Or at least there's a couple of persons, especially GCPs, who were asking if SALTO Green was going to organize a training for the GCPs themselves to become facilitators. This is not in the work right now. We haven't planned for this. I noted that there are people interested. We had, I think, 5 different people who reach out and said they would be interested to attend the training. So we're keeping this in the back of our mind for SALTO Green. What we have planned for 2025 is a TCA for training the facilitators, as I said, that already work with your NA. So we are going to be working with the French agency, FR01, to have your NA send the facilitators, the trainers that you're used to work with, so they can have a green priority training and be more comfortable teaching on those topics. And a part of that, we would like for them to train to become facilitators. And then this way, the NAs we will have send a facilitator will have someone available, probably at a price that is comfortable for them, but that can do a whole workshop. So that's my answer on this topic. We wrote down that you're interested. We think this is interesting. We're keeping this again in the back of our mind. That could be something interesting to do online, maybe as part of the GCP meeting. That's an option on the table. That's not planned for 2025, but for 2025, you have this option. So we'll communicate about this for next year. And if you're already thinking about someone that you know in your NA that you would like to send, keep that in mind. And maybe we can go through the chat.
I see there is a question on the
Okay.
outline, and I just repeat the questions. In the workshop on becoming a facilitator, there seems to be a focus on how to organize the Climate Fresk and not too much on the actual knowledge based on the IPCC reports. When becoming a facilitator, are there any seminars or workshop that focuses on the IPCC reports and focuses on improving the professional knowledge related to the topics at hand? So yeah, during the training, really, the focus is on the Climate Fresk cards, and as you have maybe already noticed, the Climate Fresk cards are really designed to be like a simplification of the IPCC reports. And the goal of the facilitator is really to know the Climate Fresk cards, but not to know the entire IPCC reports, of course. But yes, so it's just the minimum of knowledge for you to be able to be confident with the Climate Fresk cards. And then on the facilitator space, yes, you have knowledge for you to go further in the IPCC reports. There is actually the PDF of the IPCC reports somewhere available. If you really want to go into the thousands pages of the reports, and there are many conferences again on the topic. But yes, there are some ways to improve your skills and knowledge on the scientific parts. But on one day for the facilitation training, it's not a focus on the IPCC reports.
Would be too short.
One day is too short, yeah. I hope that answers your question.
Okay, so maybe we'll repeat a bit on how to become a facilitator. Sylvia was asking how to find information about upcoming facilitators training if you want to join.
Great question. There are several ways actually to take part in a training. So we can organize them internally. So if you have a minimum of 4 people, it's around it's between 4 and 14 people. We can organize an how can I say that? In-house training. And so a facilitator comes and a trainer actually comes and does the training for the group. There's another possibility, which are the inter-company sessions that we organize, and we are very happy to have Charlotte with us, which was responsible for the inter-company sessions, inter-company program for a while. So do you want to say a word about it?
Yeah, on our website, we can maybe send you the link of the page after this webinar, but there is a list of a calendar of facilitation trainings that are professional. Most of them are online in English. We also have trainings in French and also in German. And they gather a maximum of 14 participants from different organizations who always have the same goal, is to become an internal Climate Fresk facilitator in their own organization. So it's very useful. Maybe that can be an option for you. So yeah, there's a calendar up to January, I think, but we usually open new sessions every 3 months ahead. So yeah, in German, English, and soon Spanish and Italian.
Italian,
sorry. So yeah, and the cost is 600 euros per participant. It's important to know the price, which is a unique price.
Yeah, for all countries and so all NAs, that would be the same 600.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Also, briefly for the TCA, the target group would be facilitators that already work with NAs. So we would ask NAs to send either external facilitators that you usually work with for TCAs or internal training, or if some NAs have someone in their NA that is, a facilitator for the NA, that could be an option as well. But of course, we'll give you more information in 2025. Okay. And Hilde, no, I don't think there is. So Hilde is asking if there is any additional workshops, seminar, webinars organized by Climate Fresk to discuss the very specific knowledge of the what's the name in English? Sorry. Yeah, on the matter, on getting deep down into the science.
Yeah, I don't think there's a specific workshop. We actually propose a workshop that's called the expert workshop. It's only for Climate Fresk facilitators, and it's a workshop that is more complex and with more cards to deepen the knowledge on the IPCC reports. But I honestly haven't done it, so
no, it's really something that we do not offer as the association. It's not a service that is provided. It is something. Imagine you have a group of Freskers that you know well, and they just decide to do the expert version of Climate Fresk that really goes down into the scientific matters, always based on the IPCC reports. But it is not something that we offer. But if you become a Fresker, if you're really involved and interested, you can definitely find a way to organize this workshop yourself with a group of Freskers. But no, regarding the resources, the online resources, we have a MOOC, for example, that goes that just it goes through the cards themselves, but it's really linked to the workshop and not so to the IPCC reports.
Mm-hmm. So maybe that's something else that SALTO Green that I can keep in the back of my mind. If we have in the coming year more people from DNAs that train to become facilitators, that could be an option to organize one of those workshops so that NAs can get together and deepen their knowledge and have actual full-on experts in the different areas. I think that would be really interesting and really cool.
Exactly, but it's self-facilitated, if you will. There won't be a facilitator to facilitate it, but it's planned to do so. So it will be self-made.
Exactly. So I'm keeping this idea on. If you have enough people, that could be really interesting. And again, self-facilitated, but SALTO Green could be the coordinator for that. I'm writing this down. And Alessia mentioned sending clear information on it. We already have, you might have seen it already, we have a guide on the Climate Fresk on how to organize your own Climate Fresk, find the basic ideas that you can share with your colleagues and your partners, or even your beneficiaries. And definitely I was thinking about adding a few pages on becoming a facilitator. That might even be a separate document. Maybe that would make more sense. Those are different uses. But definitely, I'll try to pack every information so that, as you said, when you are discussing the possibility with your colleagues, when you are trying to figure out how to get money for this kind of training, that can be interesting to have the clear information for our directors. And obviously, they can watch this webinar as well on our YouTube channel. So that's an option for them as well if they have any more questions. Exactly. Yeah, cost, timings, all those details. You can find them, I think, on the website. Is there a page on the Climate Fresk website?
It doesn't go in that much details, but if you wish, we can send you a brochure of the services that we offer.
I think
Yeah.
the last question is referring to
Oh.
the training, the course timing, modalities, etc., which is actually on the page facilitation training.
On the intercompany one,
Yes,
but not in the
intercompany.
intra. So maybe if you will, we'll send you the brochure that gathers all this information. I write it down.
Okay, I think we are at the end of the 45 minutes. So I'm gonna close and free everybody to go finish their lunch. I think we're good. Do we have any more questions? Last few seconds. No, we're good. Anyway, if you need to, you can find the replay on the YouTube channel. And this is the link from one of our older replay. If you want information about the Climate Fresk, if you have specific questions, that's a good starting point for your colleagues as well. Yeah, otherwise, what else? You can find all the information on SALTO Green SharePoint. You're always welcome to use it. If you are NA staff, you can ask to be allowed. This is a private website, private for the NA, like internal website, but you are more than welcome whether or not you're GCP. If you're simply NA staff, you can join and find all our resources and all the links from SALTO Green. Otherwise, thank you, Hilde, and I'll free everybody. Thank you, Nina, and thank you, Charlotte, so much for coming back to answer all the questions.